And the pot calls the kettle black, calls the kettle burnt, calls her mad. Kettle reminds the pot that we both been burned on the same stove, that the parts of our bodies that are layered in soot were scorched by the same hands. Kettle tells pot that she still boils water, holds the hot breath of a white man's tongue, endures the slow simmer of a white woman's allyship, and still we make something beautiful. Pot calls the kettle wicked, and kettle says no, but says she's so magical she burned the hand of the last man who tried to pour himself a piece of her. Says she's so black she is everything, so black she is the beginning. She is the first thing someone finds home in when they wake up in the morning. Says ain't that what it means to be black? To have the world go up in flames around you and still be sanctuary for someone, saving men who lost themselves the night before, saving men who curse our names but forget his mama is made of steel too. And now the pot has no words but calls the kettle bitter, but loves the glass pan, the fine china, loves all the exotic shit white men put behind glass casings, loves how fragile things not made of steel can be. But this isn't about the pot or the pan. This is about the kettle, the black woman, how she pours herself across the earth, but no one bats an eye when the water disappears. We give ourselves to men who never love us, but they say we are difficult, too hard to break. How we, the kettle, praise this pot, this man for all the water he holds. How we are the only ones who do not call him monster when the water boils over, because we know this heat, this white flame, hot enough to make any of us explode. We are the first ones to make noise when the world goes up in flames, but they say the earth was saved by the man who heard her scream. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says yes, but says you best remember you black too. The next time they bring a fire to your neck, they burn black bodies on the stake and the stove. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says bitch I might be, says knock if you buck, then says wipe me down. Kettle says yes my nigga, I be black, I be mad, and I boiled the last man down to his bones when he tried to test me. Pot calls the kettle black, and kettle says hell yes, but don't say my name as if you ain't ever been burnt too.
All right, everybody. Have to get them parties started. This is DJ Torch on the 1 and 2. We're going to keep it rolling. We're going to keep it rolling.
Duty police officer decides to beat a black male because he thinks the black male is dating his daughter, but he's not. Finally, he gets sentenced. Let's put it up full mass. I'm taking you to Alabama. Off-duty Alabama cop allegedly bloodies a black man's nose and mouth, then threatens him with a gun for reportedly just talking to his daughter. He also has a startling history of physical abuse. This is Lieutenant Max Ryan Dotson. In Alabama.
All right, in the house. Hey, lady, in the house. Cyber Dreams in the house. Feisty Black Tina in the house. Creative Solutions. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep it going.
Officer now will spend the next 2 years behind bars after a judge convicted him of assault, among other charges, for hitting and threatening a black male while he was off duty. Max Ryan Dotson was a lieutenant for the Sheffield County Police Department, was charged in March and later found guilty of third-degree assault, reckless endangerment, and menacing during his bench trial. Now, here's why that part is important. His defense attorney elected to bypass a jury and to seek a verdict from a judge. It's called a bench trial. The judge convicted him. Now, I still think the sentence is light given the horrific nature of the crime and also the extreme amount of public trust placed into this lieutenant. Let me give you more background. Lauderdale County, all right, Lauderdale County Lauderdale County District Court, Judge Carol C. Metley, sentenced Officer Dotson on Friday to 12 months for the third-degree charge of assault and 12 months for the reckless endangerment charge and 6 months for menacing. In December 2022, Lieutenant Dotson approached DeMarcus Key.
Let me pause this right here. You see where I'm going with this? I think you might. Let's keep it going.
And alleged he had said something to his daughter. Key kept insisting that he said nothing to Dotson's daughter and did not know her. The two get into a verbal altercation that quickly turned physical. Then Dotson stepped back and pulled his gun. Key was struck multiple times in the face and left with a bloodied nose and mouth. The off-duty cop also threatened him with the gun, according to a civil rights attorney, our dear friend Harry Daniels. Dotson was arrested on March 28th and booked into the Lauderdale County Detention Center, but released.
I guess my point is that it's just funny in the black manosphere how they talk about how they wanted to protect black men, but when stuff like this comes up, they're silent. So who are they protecting black men against? It can't be Caucasian men because they're not doing that. They got mad when black women were marching. Yes, black men got mad when women were marching because of black men were getting brutalized. So believe it or not, they're mad at black women. The red pill, they don't even care that black men are being brutalized by other sources. Let's just say other sources, including each other. So that's very questioning. That's a very questioning and concerning thought that just popped in my head. It's like, wait a minute, you guys are supposed to be fighting for black men's rights, but it only seems to be an issue if it's a black woman that you want control over. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We in the warm-up, just trying to get the room ready. Here we go.
Sisters, let me give y'all a little game, and I want y'all to understand this. When you a dime, when you up top, you see the world differently. When you're lower, you can't see the world from a dime's perspective. Now, I ain't calling her a dime, but I'm going to just say this. That sprinkle lady, you know that lady been bad and light-skinned and pretty with good hair a long motherfucking time. Now, we had a category in my high school. I ain't going to say her name. It was most likely to be taken care of by a rich man. My senior year, that was a category in the senior superlatives. Most likely to be taken care of by a rich man. She was a light-skinned, pretty girl with a nice body and good hair. You keep listening to that goddamn sprinkle lady. You can't do that. You ain't built like Diamond, Lisa Ray. You don't look light-skinned, pretty girls with beautiful hair get taken care of. They don't have to pay 50-50. They somebody's trophy. Your black, ugly ass ain't.
That's basically how a lot of manosphere dudes think. And they think that's going to get them what they want. Complaining like that. Is that crazy or what? That is just amazing. Let's keep it going. Just getting the room warm. Just getting the room warmed up here.
Things that will happen if you decide to get into a relationship with a man who is broke and barely got his life together.
We're about to tag team this one, Queen. What's number one?
And he will give you a lot of sex because that's all he has to offer.
Now, it's a lot of reasons, a plethora of reasons on why you should think about taking sex off the table in your relationship to see his reaction, how he acts. Because
all right, in the house, Cyber Dreams in the house, Miss RV in the house, K Brown in the house, a lady in the house, Feisty Black Tina in the house, Creative Solutions. Let's keep it going.
not only is a lot of y'all relationships built off sex, the man is doing exactly what this woman is saying, using sex to keep you distracted from the fact that he is broke. Broke. See, money be the main motive, character trait, personality, energy. Money controls a man's whole life if he don't have his own identity. A lot of these men don't have their own identity. The same way that a lot of these men, their identity is NBA YoungBoy. Yes, that's the same thing with money. If a man don't have money, you can croak, hit the casket, and he will not care. You got to understand that all of that abuse will be like never before. If he don't have money, it don't matter how much you helping him. You're the reason he's broke. You're the reason. He will beat the closest person to him and accuse you of being a problem when it's him. Y'all think this is a game? Get somebody with money that's financially stable. What's number two?
The thing that will happen is he'll bully you. He'll bully and abuse you. Let me tell you something. A man determines his self-worth by his financial status.
Oh, yeah. A man's self-worth is almost always determined by their financial status. Men.
You know what? I'm going to jump in here real quick since they're tag teaming. Might as well throw my tag team in too. I can attest, you know how a lot of these men are talking about Pookies, Ray Rays, and these abusive, wealthy men, etc., right? Now, yes, of course, an abusive man is going to be abusive. However, in my personal life, I have seen, because I had a roommate who was broke, and he was more vicious than any man I had ever come into contact. Like, he was a true bona fide loser, and he was a vicious, petty, small man. And yeah, so
Men tell other men, right? They have a conversation amongst themselves. If you get a car, if you get a house, if you get a Rollie, if you get a, I don't know, polo boxers, you want to get more women. You're going to get more sex, right? The more materialistic items you get, the more sex you're going to get because women are gold diggers, right? So apply that to his financial status. If he don't have money, he can't get a gold digger. So that means without money, he can't get more sex. These men are weak, broke, bums, cockroaches without money. And the fact that money determines a man's self-worth, self-love, and self-value should tell you a lot as a woman about men. What's number three, Queen?
Number three, instead of him doing the right thing and working with you and building with you, he's going to take your money and use it to impress other women, his side chick.
Oh, yeah. He gonna do whatever he can to impress other women. And that money comes in all kind of forms. You bought him a gift, you bought him boxers, you bought him belts, you bought him shoes, whatever you bought him, he gonna wear that best dress down to the next date with the next woman that's a side chick. He's gonna get that money from you no matter how. He will steal it from you, he will beat you up for it, he will take it from you, it don't even matter. Claim your kids on taxes. Y'all ladies think we joking? You think we joking?
oh my. Oh my goodness, that was a lot of energy in that video. But I will say that I agree with a lot of his points, but for a different reason. The ego of men. I have found that men and their egos, that they want to be the superhero, that they want to be, the knight in shining armor. And if you're the one buying his underwear, he really can't be that in the relationship with you. So he'll go elsewhere and be that knight in shining armor. And that's how he'll be using your money to impress someone else, using your car to pick someone else. Like, you're at work, he's driving around in your car, flexing and flointing, right? And the other thing is, please understand that if you are the type of woman who dates a broke bum, right, then your worth automatically goes down to him, even if he is the broke bum. He's going to create his baseline off of you. And so he's like, this is the type of woman that I could get as a broke bum. So who is it that I'll be able to get once I have money? Every man has an idea of the type of woman that he feels that he deserves, right? And a lot of these men feel that money gives them access to the type of baddie that they feel that they deserve in their heart. Instagram, these super beautiful young ladies out there with their cheeks, and don't let them fool you. They be in those DMs trying to see, because you see it's a competition between them and other men. So they profess, oh, these baddies, they shouldn't be out here showing they clappers and all of this. But trust and believe, go through his DMs and you will see many Black women make themselves seem like the come up woman, because the standards, like when your standards are low, you get treated and judged accordingly. You get treated like, quote unquote, bottom of the barrel, because the other women who have the standards, he knows that he has to rise to meet their standards. When you have no standards, even he doesn't respect you for taking bumps.
This is why you can't really give. I don't know how long my mic was off for, but that's why you can't really give. You can't get into that bus driver theory. It just because they're there for a reason, and if you're climbing, you're striving, you have to get equally yoked with somebody. You can't let that happen. In the house, Prism. In the house, Bridget Mouton. In the house, A Lady. In the house, Miss RV. In the house, Cyber Dreams. In the house, the LW Academy Recovery Hub for Women. In the house, Kay Brown. In the house, Feisty Black Tina. Wow, we're gonna have a good show tonight. We are going to have a great show tonight. Here we go.
Dick. Yeah, that was a great way to end it. Even if he was the bum. Even if he was the bum. Be a part of the live show with thousands of other viewers. Go to TanyaTKO.com/text and join the text notification squad and get a text whenever I go live. Support the show and yourself, and I'll see you on the next live broadcast.
Getting warmed up
Gotta
here.
ask, what do you have to say about that?
No. That's not how it goes. My daughter just got married. I had to pay, really had to pay. And you have to do the same, Martin. Don't try to switch it up. Don't try to change no do no Hollywood switch. You paying for the wedding. If it goes down, Martin is paying. And the wedding better be wonderful.
Got anything on you? I'm at my house.
Okay. I'm asking you.
This is gonna get deep, folks. Here we go. Welcome to Interview with the Vampire, Part 1.
What's your name?
Gervonta.
What?
Gervonta.
Gervonta is your first name?
Yeah.
Okay. What's your
I should preface this. This is Gervonta Davis, one of the best boxers ever in the world. I was a huge fan. I understand. I just said was, but you'll find out very soon why. I want you to watch this interaction. It's very interesting, and it's very embarrassing for me. Here we go.
Davis.
On December 27th, 2022, the Broward County Sheriff received a desperate 911 call from a woman who expressed fear for her life. She reported being punched in the face by her live-in boyfriend during an argument. The suspect was identified as the renowned, undefeated professional boxer, Gervonta Davis.
I need help, please. Ma'am, repeat the address. I need to send units to you. I need the address. Please help me. You're gonna kill me. Ma'am, what's the address? Please.
You're going to press without this, right? She left up my phone. She just going. All right, you come over here. You come over here, please, and stand with him. With my partner.
What any weapons on you?
Huh? What is that? The charger, man. The charger. Okay.
Got anything on you?
Stay with him. I'm at my house.
Okay. I'm asking you. Gotta ask you. Who is in the car?
This is my car. She took my car.
Who's she to you?
We'll just be right here. My child mother.
Oh, okay. All right. Does she have any weapons?
No.
All right. Just put down your phone for now, sir.
Look how unengaged he is right now.
What's your name?
Gervonta.
What?
Gervonta. She's trying to take my car, and I don't want her to take
She's
my
trying
car.
to leave?
Yeah, she's trying to. But I got a driver to be able to take her wherever she want to go.
That works.
So immediately he's trying to throw his baby's mother under the bus. Let's keep going.
Who else is in the house?
No, for sure.
Who you live with?
Oh, my daughter and my other daughter.
How old is she?
4.
Oh.
She 4.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't want people to see me.
Let's just come up here.
hell, bro?
You know.
All right, so what's your side of this?
She's trying to take my car. This is my truck. All my keys is placed on the counter in there. She took my car key and she trying to leave with my car.
Okay.
That's it.
Where does she live?
Huh?
Where does she live? Where does she
I don't
live?
know her exact address, but
Does she live in Canada? Does she live in the
Okay. He is saying that he doesn't know the address of his baby's mother.
Come on, man. Y'all,
No, but she's local. Though. She's visiting.
She's local.
She live in Parkland?
No, she don't live in Parkland.
What city does she live in? Help me out.
I don't know. She can tell you better than that. You were just talking.
I know, but I'm asking you.
I cannot.
Where's she trying to go with it?
I'm new. I mean, I just moved here a year ago. I don't know what part of.
That's your baby?
Yes, that's my daughter.
Does the baby live with you or with her?
Well,
And you don't know where your baby lives?
Yeah. This saddens me because I was a huge fan.
you trying to make this about.
I'm trying to find out what happened.
Okay, wasn't you just talking to her? Can she provide all them information to you?
Well, let me ask you this. I was just talking to her. What if she told me that you beat the piss out of her and you jumped on top of her and started punching her in the face? Should I just go ahead and take that
Okay,
as...
but don't you know?
It's your side of the story. Give your side.
Have you just talking to her though? With the information that she gave you, can she tell you? I don't.
You want me to just take everything she says?
I'm not from here.
Okay, but you want me to just take everything she says
all
as
I'm just
fact?
saying is I'm not from here. I don't know her exact address.
Okay, that's fine.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not asking for her exact address. How did she get here?
She drove with my car. Yes, my car.
To get here.
Yes.
Wait. So, oh my God. So he's okay. Let me go back here. He's his defense so far for whatever it is, right? His defense is that she was taking his car. Okay.
You want me to just take everything she says?
I'm not from here.
Okay, but you want me to just take everything she says
all
as
I'm just
fact?
saying is I'm not from here. I don't know her exact address.
Okay, that's fine.
How can you not know the exact address of the woman who, number one, you get driven home to every day, and is it your mother's child? How does that work? Hey, lady, maybe they live in his car. Yeah, that is crazy. Let's keep it going. This is already weird. Welcome to Interview with a Vampire. Here we go.
I'm not asking for her exact address. How did she get here?
She drove with my car. Yes, my car.
To get here?
Yes, my car.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you give her that car?
No, I did not.
Did you let her drive that car?
Yes.
17 Bravo 3 copy.
Moving around with my
Well,
car.
she got here. From wherever she lives, she drove the car here. So she takes the car home.
No, she don't.
9-1 drop off 5851 Holbrook Road.
Is it in your
5851 Holbrook Road.
Under
All right.
Yeah,
You want her to leave.
SOS.
Yes, I want
So I won't hang up.
How is she supposed to leave?
It's 1329.
And she get it right. You said you have a driver.
Hold on. Just hold on.
Yeah.
How is she going to leave?
You trying to make
How is she going to leave? What do you mean? What do I
I
mean?
have somebody I have a driver that will take her wherever.
Get him over here then. If you're going to kick someone out of your house,
Sir, you don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to do that.
I don't have to. I'm sorry. I don't have to do what?
Bravo 17 Bravo
Do you see what's going on here? I think it's circle tuck. You know, I think it's a form of, what's that word? Gaslighting. He's not giving the officer his full attention. He's mumbling too much. He's acting like he doesn't understand the comprehension of what the officer is saying. I mean, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to me. It's like, it makes you look more guilty. That's what's happening. Here we go.
Did you put your hands on her?
No, I did not. Of course, she gonna tell you if she. Okay,
didn't.
well, okay.
I'm
Why
just
did you
asking
ask
you.
that? Why did you ask
Because that's
that?
my job, my man. That's my job.
Ali.
Kilo 546. Kilo 546.
Hello.
Beacon 66 to 94. We got intel from the neighbor that the person dictated. Everything's 10-4. Thank you.
He hit you like behind the ear, kind of in the head,
Here, my head.
where your hand is.
Yes.
Is it swollen or anything?
No, it just hurts.
It just hurts.
Yes.
Okay, so he hit you like that. Then how about the lip? How did that happen?
Because how he hit me, like, probably like with the hand, but I don't.
So that was one strike
Yes.
that got both the side of your head and then
This side of my face.
came across the side of your face and caught you.
Okay, let me remind you that a boxer, especially at his level, a world champion boxer, your hands are lethal.
Your lip like looks like it probably hit your tooth inside your mouth and cause a little abrasion there. Okay.
Are you 97 or something here?
What is that? Your alarm? Is that your alarm?
Because the gate messed up now.
Oh, okay. Hey, listen. This is going a little bit different now. She's alleging that you hit her.
Of course, she's gonna say that.
Okay.
Because she wanted. Come on, bro.
This is a good thing is that you got cameras all over your house. So if you hit her, it will be on camera, right?
Yeah.
Just like if you didn't hit her, it would be on camera.
Yeah. Of course,
Okay.
she's gonna say that.
But
You know, of course she's going to say that. I mean, the guy's looking at the guy's looking at her, and she's all beat up. He's still throwing his baby's mother under the bus. This is really crazy.
The only thing is, I gotta wait till the driver get here because he's the one that works the camera.
Cameras? Okay. All right, well, we're not going anywhere. Is this your driver?
No.
Oh, how you doing? How you doing? Good. All right, we're just waiting. My supervisor's coming over.
Let me pause this right here. Mercy Me's up in the house. Mercy Me breaks it down like this. My soon-to-be ex-hubby bought me a car out of guilt, then used it to try to gaslight and degrade me with it. Ladies, please don't be quick to depend on them. Amen to that. Amen.
I'm sorry?
You see what's going on. She just want to say
To be honest with you, I don't know what's going on because she's saying you hit her. She does have a mark on her lips, and it's under.
I have a mark right here.
Did she hit you? She was getting ready
Notice
to,
his eye. See, I believe you can gaslight with just body language and eye contact, and he's doing all of that right now. He's doing all of that right now.
to leave.
So why did she?
Because then she told the other deputy that you hit her.
Right. So she want something to happen since I.
Well, maybe she does. Maybe she does. But this is what happens when when folks don't get along. I got to figure it out. You're being a little evasive with me.
Oh.
Because every time I ask you a question, you suck your teeth and you say, "Oh, come on, man, you know what's going on."
I mean, this is patience. I commend the officers in this instance right here. They're being very patient. They know what happened, and they've seen enough of these. Indiana Mom in the house. Act Natural Under Pressure in the house. LW Academies in the house. A Ladies in the house. Mercy Me's in the house. We got Prism in the house. Bridget Mouton in the house. Miss RV in the house. Feisty Black Tina in the house. We're going to keep this going because it's going good.
You're not giving me any really straight answers.
Alexander's in the house.
I asked you to give me your driver's license. You gave me out a passport. I asked to see your daughter. You said no. I don't want her to see the police.
I showed you.
You did, but I wanted to see her, and now I'm gonna have to talk to her because she said that when you hit her, it was in front of her, the baby. The 4-year-old.
Uh-oh. Kids are the best tape decks ever. I mean, they see everything, and little kids, they're more honest than grown-ups, in my opinion. Here we go.
Turn around for battery. Turn around. Violence.
Don't act surprised. You should have been more. You know. Man, this is killing me. One of my favorite boxers of all time.
The little one inside.
You don't gotta ask me about it.
Well,
you got to watch how this goes. You know, when Cynthia G be talking about how, you know, us black men don't care about, you know, our children and shit. Ooh. Whoa. She nailed it. This is embarrassing to me, but I got to play it. Here we go.
The little one inside.
You don't gotta ask me about it.
Well, we need to make sure she's with somebody.
She's with somebody.
Okay, listen, I get you that you're upset, but we can't just say. What's your first name? We can't just say that she's just with somebody. We have a.
You see how they're trying to work with him here? Man, I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm going to leave it with somebody," but he is. I don't know. I really honestly don't know whether he's really like maybe he took too many hits to the head, or that he's actually focused on circle talk and gaslighting, because you know you should care about who your child is with, and you should care about that the officers care about who the child is with. They're not going to leave them with, you know, with Dahmer or somebody. You know what I mean?
To make sure that she's with the right people. Okay, so where's the mother of that child? What's his first name?
Gervonta. Listen real quick. It's either that.
Ain't no more talking.
No, there is more talking, because otherwise
it's not.
He's in cuffs trying to tell them there's not many more to talk about. When they just ask them, okay, hey, look, we need to leave your child with somebody safe. We're just not going to just let leave your child out to dry. Let's keep it going.
You would rather we take the child to the
walk in.
DCF?
So I just said somewhere in there. Y'all cannot walk into my house. Y'all cannot.
Okay, they're not even asking to go in his house. They just want to know that the kid's going to be safe. They just ask the name of the person who's going to keep the child safe, a little child that cannot fend for themselves. Man, come on. Here we go.
What we're going to do is we're going to end up calling Child Protective Services. And Child Protective Services will come out here. And Child Protective Services will take custody of the kid.
And he doesn't understand is as soon as the paperwork's done on Child Protective Services, it can go down. I mean, it can get confusing, and now then he's gonna have to be monitored and stuff and all this other stuff. Here we go.
Said somebody in there.
Yeah, but I don't know who that someone is.
Okay.
And I can't just leave your daughter or your son with somebody. That's my point. We're looking out for you. Who's he? Okay.
Can you explain more?
He's going to jail for domestic violence. Okay. I'm trying to explain to him. He has a 4-year-old inside the house. Okay. We have to make sure that 4-year-old is with someone that can be trusted, that he's okay with, and that we're okay with. Okay. He's playing hard with us right now because I get it that he's upset, but we can't just leave the 4-year-old here without double checking who that 4-year-old is with. Where is the mother of the child? Where we can try to get the mother of the child to come over here. I get he's upset, but we still have to watch out for the 4-year-old.
Okay.
So, but it's not just, he doesn't understand. It's not just somebody. We have to. We can't just
He's
leave the
right
4-year-old.
Okay, chat. Do you believe he's really this dense, or do you believe he's doing the circle talk / gaslighting vibe? What do you guys think? Hit 1 if he's really this dumb, or hit 2 if he's doing the circle talk gaslight, and hit 3 for both. I'll wait for a minute. This is just crazy to me. I mean, this is how not to handle things. Everybody's hitting. Hey, okay, let's keep going.
Right here, listen, the manager's right here.
I know his. Where is the mother?
The mother's not here.
Where is
No
she?
shit. That's why they're asking you where she is. Oh my God. Oh man. Oh man. You don't understand. Man. I can never watch this guy box and think the same things about him ever again. Oh man. This is killing me here. You know, this is killing me.
She's not here. She's not in her state.
Yeah, she doesn't live in Florida.
She don't live here.
You have custody?
Yes.
Okay.
And you're good with him, your manager?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can you give me the basis of the arrest?
Domestic violence.
Okay. On what premise?
He struck her.
Okay. What proof do you have of that?
We have,
because obviously he has a gash on his face. He was
okay,
struck
listen.
too. Go ahead.
We have domestic violence. He struck her. He's going to go to jail. He has to go to jail.
Okay, now
you cannot strike somebody.
Hold on. Do you have that wish list? Do you have that
I see
pictures
everything. I
of
see
anything?
the mark on her too. Okay.
Okay, in the house, Mr. DJ Music in the house, Camo in the house, Indiana Mom in the house, LW Academy in the house, Prism in the house, Miss RV in the house, Hey Lady in the house, Act Natural under pressure, under pressure. Wait, let me stop. Okay, in the house we have Bridget Bouton in the house, Mercy Me in the house, Spicy Black Tina. I'm gonna keep it going. I'm gonna keep it going. But see, this isn't going, this right here, this is not going good. Okay. This is not going good here. And he's super famous, and they're giving him some patience. But dang. Okay, here we go.
So how can you just go on with somebody? I struck her. I never struck her.
You're his manager, not his attorney. I'm not going to debate this with you. Come on, listen.
I'm doing
I get it.
We'll do it. Not you.
They're going to do it. Okay? You don't walk up on cops doing their job. And if I tell you to back up, I'm going to tell you to back up. So I'm going to tell you to back up. Now I'm going to do it this way.
I'm right here.
No, I want you to back up. That's how we're going to do it. You don't walk up on cops doing something, especially when someone tells you not to.
You didn't see it, sir. He had his property.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
We'll give you his property when we're ready to give you the property.
He was giving it to him. He was handing it to me as keys.
Wait, stop. Hey, lady, why are you gonna roast me like that? Okay, yeah, that's true. I should leave the singing to Cyber Dreams because she, you know, she has that kind of talent. You know, Prism. No, I don't think it's an attorney. I think it's just like his Gervonta's caretaker or something like that. You know, because an attorney would tell him, if a smart attorney would just tell Gervonta to what is it? Cooperate and to see he'll see him downtown. So, and that ain't even happen. Okay, here we go.
In my hand.
Leave. Go. Goodbye.
Listen.
Largest fully accredited chair.
I'm all right. Well, this one AC works. That's good. All right, so we're gonna go in, get your shirt on, and wait a little bit.
Bridget be saying, "See your little heart out, DJ." Well, I have a big heart, But yeah, I mean, this is just all bad. I mean, they could have technically given him obstruction of justice and all this other stuff. Let's keep it going.
We'll take it from there. Now hold your shirt. You got it?
Mr. Davis was arrested and charged with battery causing bodily harm. However, he was sentenced to no jail time and the charges were eventually dropped. Before we go, please drop a comment to share your thoughts.
Talk about getting a pass. Wow. I mean, and everybody knew, and it's funny because I looked at the comments in the chat and they were like, oh yeah, she lied and all this kind of stuff. No, she had a bloody lip. The thing is that this happens a lot, and where the victim gives the guy a pass. Because this was dropped because the victim wanted it dropped, which is, oh my God, it's just rarely there's rarely a turnaround, and LW will break it down for you. Cyber will break it down to you. I mean, I know so many of you in here who would break it down that they just keep doing this shit. I guarantee you that probably wasn't the first time either. Man, I mean, I was a super fan of his. I am telling you. But, we got to just let things like that go. I mean, there's nothing you can do. And now I'm about to break it down again. I'm about to break it down again because we're going to go into the vampire pathology right now. Let's break it down a little bit. Here we go.
If you're preyed upon by a psychopath, which you will be to some degree at some point in your life, the psychopath, who will be narcissistic, will presume that you're stupid and that you deserve to be taken advantage of because you're naive and stupid.
Right.
So
notice how they said that. Oh my God. This guy's starting to grow on me a little bit, not much, but a tiny bit. What he's saying is that this is why somebody who's not even as intelligent as you are can think they're smarter than you, because it's in their DNA. It's in their pathology to think that way. So they think they're doing you a favor by abusing you. Yes, let me repeat that again. They think they are doing you a favor by abusing you. It is the weirdest thought process you will ever see in life. And there is no way you can reason with somebody who thinks like this. Here we go.
it's actually a good thing that he's doing it. And I'm saying he because there are more male psychopaths. The proof that you're stupid, naive is that he can take advantage of you. And so, like, if you were wiser, you'd know his tricks, and then it wouldn't be morally necessary for him to show you just exactly who knows what about what.
Wow, that's deep. That is deep.
And so the psychopath will use his ability to fool you as proof of his own grandiose omniscience and narcissism. And
so the thing, why I'm tying this into Gervonta a little bit, which I don't know if he's a psychopath, but he had similar things where he thought he could literally outsmart police officers. Not that, I'm not going to say police officers are rocket scientists, but when you do something like basically, domestic, DV all day, every day, you get good at ascertaining the situation. And I believe those officers knew that. They knew just by Gervonta's body language and by his attitude and by his eye communication and by his circle talk, what was going down. They knew it. They could see it. They knew it, not because there's the rocket scientists, but because they've been exposed to it all day, every day. And I'm not saying just by black men, but by just it just happens. That's one of the most common crimes. So yeah, and cyber, you nailed it. Control. That's what they're trying to get. Let's keep it going. We gotta learn this. You gotta learn this because you gotta understand how to identify these types of individuals when you go out dating or you starting to get in a relationship, which hopefully not with somebody like this, because it's going to be a bad call. You know, I'm trying to teach you per se what the manosphere wants you to learn, which is to choose better. The big problem is the manosphere is packed full of men just like this. So basically, you can almost literally avoid the manosphere, anybody who thinks like a manosphere guy, and be choosing better. Out the gate. Let me keep it going.
The problem with that is that you can be fooled by a psychopath, and virtually anybody can. So that Robert Hare, for example, who studied psychopaths for a long time and interviewed a lot of them, hundreds of them, and videotaped many of the interviews, he said when he was talking to the psychopath, he always believed what they were saying. And then he'd watch the video afterwards and see where the conversation went off the rails. But the proclivity to be polite in a conversation is very strong. And if you're polite, you don't object to the way that the person unfolds their strategy. And psychopaths are pretty good at figuring out how to manipulate, obviously, how to manipulate people. And
yes, they know how to basically twist and lie, look away and deny.
The probability that you will be immune to that is extraordinarily low. Go watch Paul Bernardo being interviewed by policemen on YouTube. That's enlightening, man. Paul Bernardo, he's like the CEO of a meeting in that video. He gives the cops hell, he gives the lawyers hell, he protests his innocence. He basically tells them that they're rude and untrustworthy because they don't trust him because he did a few little things 17 years ago. And he gets away with it, a few little things. I mean, he killed a bunch of people, including the sister of his girlfriend at the time, and he was a repeat sexual offender and murderer. It's like, but he basically goes, well, that's a long time ago. It's like, but we're past that, aren't we? I mean, I'm having a discussion with you. I'm trying to help you solve some crimes, which, by the way, I committed, but we won't bring that up.
You talk about vampires. This he's breaking down a vampire right now. Let's keep this going.
You're accusing me of being a liar. Like, you're not playing fair. What's up with you? And then when they answer, he looks at his fingernails. That's a lovely little manipulative thing. It basically means whatever happens to be under my fingernail at the moment is higher priority than listening to your foolish story. And you watch, you'll see people do that to you. And then you get a little insight into what they're up to. He's very good at that. Or he looks outside, or he just looks at his hands. Or
remember when Gervonta was looking away, looking dismissive, looking like he was in a totally different conversation with somebody else? Straight up.
Out the window, immediately dismissive in his nonverbal behavior. Brilliant. The courts were forced to release that, by the way, but look it up, Paul Bernardo on YouTube. Wow, it's just mind-boggling. He's so good at what he does. And he's good looking and he's charismatic and he can really pull it off. And you can't tell what's happening with the cops and the lawyers, whether they're just letting him play his routine to get some information from him, or whether he's actually setting them back on his heels. And I suspect it's a bit of both, but it's masterful performance. If you were
exactly, Bridget, like he was on his phone, he was paying to his, he has literally a serious legal issue, but he wants to play around with his phone. Gervonta did. Exactly, Bridget.
Watching it without the audio, you'd think he's the CEO of some company giving his employees hell for not being up to scratch. That's all his body language, his eye contact, everything just speaks that. All right, so anyways, out there in the underworld, in the place beyond your current conceptualizations, that's the place of death and nature, and it's beyond the light, and it's also the place of hell, and that's what you see here. And how do you conceptualize that? Well, one of the things you'll see, if you're interested in this sort of thing, if you ever go read the writings of the Columbine killers, the teens, they're very interesting. They're very much worth reading, especially, I think it's Dylan Klebold, who was the more literate of the two. But he tells you exactly where he went after brooding and brooding and brooding on his isolation and segregation from mankind. So he's out there in a chaotic domain, And because he's tortured by that, his thoughts take an unbelievably dark turn. It's unimaginably dark. If you're interested in that sort of thing, you could read that. There's another book you could read called Panzram, and it's a fascinating book. It's about this guy who raped 1,200 men.
Okay, I'm going to stop this. Wow. That's deep. That's how sociopaths are, though. We're going to get into the meat. We get into meat right now. Here we go.
Hey, you now have antisocial personality.
Oh, I'm going to bring it back. Here we go. Interview with the Vampire, Part 2.
What is it like to be you?
I would say it's pretty average, to be honest. If you were on the outside looking in, you would say that it was pretty boring. Because for the most part, I don't. What I tend to do now is I tend to just really stick to myself, because I have to be very careful about how I'm interacting with people and under what context I'm interacting with people. So I tend to limit anything that would be negative for me.
Why do you have to limit yourself?
Because if I encounter a certain kind of person, and if I'm talking to you and I sense a level of weakness, I get kind of the urge to prey upon that in a way. So in order for me to kind of mitigate that, I definitely limit my social interactions. And I have to make sure it happens underneath the right context. Otherwise, I just, I try to stay away from it.
I have to be fully transparent.
Mm-hmm.
When you reached out to me and I read your diagnoses,
mm-hmm.
I thought to myself, can I trust him?
Mm-hmm.
Can I give him the platform of our audience who I care deeply about?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to try to manipulate me? Are you going to try to manipulate our audience? Are those valid concerns?
Those would be valid concerns for sure. But as I said earlier, I would say I like what you do, because definitely people have voices that need to be heard. And I would hate to, disturb that process in any way.
When you say prey on somebody, what do you mean?
So the way it would work for me is, I'll speak to someone. I won't really tell them much about me. They'll tell me about them. And then once they tell me about them, I'll kind of form a personality. I'll exaggerate certain features about my own personality to match what it is that they're looking to see. And then
welcome, a lady, to the stage. How you doing this afternoon, evening, or late evening, wherever you are?
Hi.
Man, this is going to be deep. I'm glad you're up here. So as far as you've seen so far, what are your thoughts?
Hey, DJ. So it just took my mind back immediately to the Pineapple Show yesterday. And that young girl who was young mother who was interviewing with people, and the one guy who was ignoring her and flirting with the Melly, and how she instantly made herself look to me like a victim. And he was a narcissist. He was acting like a narcissist or a psychopath or whatever. And he was reeling her in. He spotted a victim. And just like this guy saying right here, that's what this is reminding me of.
Got it.
Once I get my goal, whatever that goal is, then I'm done with the situation, and then I move on. And I've had feelings that I was strange as long as I can remember.
What was it like to feel strange at a young age?
Oh my God, does that sound like what comes out of a manosphere man's mouth, or what? Here we go. Man.
It was a bit interesting, I would say, because you're kind of able to exist on the fringe, and it's kind of like you're on the outside looking in.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's on the other side of that window pane, so it kind of gives you the freedom to watch and to look and to observe. Especially if you're a quiet person naturally, people can kind of forget that you're there.
Did you feel like a different animal, a different species?
No, I thought everyone else was different.
By the way, a lady, anytime you see something you want to talk to, just say, DJ, stop, I got you.
Will do.
As a kid, I thought they were the weird ones, and
What was weird about them to you?
Like, why are y'all? I guess why do you get so sad at certain things? Why do you get so excited over certain things? Like, it's not, I just looked at it like it's not natural. I wasn't really able to relate to other people. And when people would get extremely angry or extremely sad, I would say as a kid more so I would actually get annoyed, you know, or if people would get overjoyed, and you know, sometimes people get super excited, they jump up and down, they clap. As a kid, I would get annoyed by that because it's like, I don't understand what's the purpose of this overt display?
Hey,
It
DJ, stop it.
doesn't do anything for anyone.
So my thought here is what he is saying sounds like, I see they say he has a bipolar disorder and some other stuff going on, but it reminds me of people who are also on the spectrum. They may not be violent, though this guy seems like he could be much more dangerous. So it's not up to us to diagnose when we come across people who are like this. You're showing us, just be careful. It could be anybody, right?
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
You know, just the fact that you got good news, it doesn't make the good news better if you jump up and down about it.
I mean, hey, lady, my thing is this: is that if these videos, these lives or live streams that can save a young lady from getting into the wrong situation, you know what I mean? Just even it might just be some type of hint she picked up. That's where you know, I did what I want to do. It's just this is basically not a live for scaring women or making women hate men, but more so look out for these types of men. And here's some navigational tools that might help, if you know what I mean.
I would caveat that and say, look out for these types of people. So
Yes.
this is
Yes.
this is good advice for men and women to look out for men and women who have these behavioral traits. Mhm.
Well said. Well said.
You know, so I sat back and I watched people, and I watched how they were able to do things, and I used this information to outsmart people. You know, I was able to outsmart a lot of my teachers. That's kind of how it started, the manipulation and the lying. I would outsmart a lot of my teachers. I would come up with lies on the spot. Like, I would come into class and my teacher would ask, "Where's the homework?" I would tell her, "Oh, you know, my dog, he got rushed to the hospital last night. We were there late until about 3 a.m. and there was this problem and that problem and that problem. And I don't even have a dog, never had a dog."
So would it be correct to say that when you meet somebody, you kind of size them up and you say, okay, this person shouldn't or should be manipulated?
It's not should or shouldn't be. If I have something that I want to get, then I'm gonna do my best to get it.
Since I walked in here,
wow.
Yeah, that's scary that people are walking around with that type of mentality.
Straight up. I mean, yep.
and we started talking, have you sized me up at all and analyzed any of my weaknesses and how they could be manipulated?
I mean, when I was watching your videos, I mean, I thought about it, but I wanted this to be kind of like more of an honest format. But no, I don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to. And it's also, I don't really gain anything from doing that in this situation anyway.
Right.
Can a person...
Let me pause it for a minute. Indiana mom says, "Dude is creepy. No way I would be alone with him ever." Yeah, but the difficult part is when, you know, they can be, again, it'll be fake as hell, but they can be charismatic, you know, very, I can't even say the
charismatic.
There you go. Thank you, A-Lady. Charismatic. They can be very charismatic until they just get tired of doing that. It becomes a bore or a tiresome, or they find out that you don't need them anymore. Now, I may be right or wrong. I'm no expert, but from what I've seen, from what I've learned, that's what happens, is that they can be nice until they're not nice.
Right. They'll be nice to you until they find another victim, and then they'll start treating you like trash, once they get what they want out of you. And I agree with Indiana Mom. I would not be alone with him. Here's the other thing. He's been watching this guy interviewing him. He's been watching his videos. So he's probably manipulating him right now. He knows what that guy responds well to, and knows what to say to make him be more sympathetic to him. He probably is thinking that he can outsmart this guy or something, because that's what what a psych crazy person would do.
Person ever fully trust a sociopath, though?
I would say that you have to, if this is someone that you actually care about, you have to spend time with them and see actually where their head is at, I would say. And I would say if this is, in most cases, you wouldn't even know. To be honest, you wouldn't know until they did something to you, if I'm being honest. So, but if you're meeting someone like me who is gonna, who will tell you that this is what I'm going through, I would say watch them. Watch and see how it is they react to certain things. See if they, are prone to outbursts. See if they're willing to lie to you. See if they're willing to manipulate you.
So I find it interesting that you said in order to trust a sociopath, you have to watch them, observe them, and understand their behavior. So it's almost like you want people to act like you, or you only understand the world from your perspective.
I wouldn't say it's that I necessarily want people to act like me. I look at it like it's more so about your own safety, in a way. If you're dealing with someone that does have those kind of issues, they do have strong urges. So that's where, the observation point comes in, because you can't always perceive certain things like that based off of emotions. I'm really good at faking emotions. So you wouldn't, if you're going off of emotional basis, you wouldn't know.
What does that remind me of? Let me keep it going.
When would you say is the last time you've manipulated somebody?
Right now.
It's been about a year.
Straight up, huh?
A year?
Yeah, it's been about a year.
How have you gone a year without that?
I kind of limit my social interactions. I make sure I'm not dealing with certain kinds of people.
Did you always understand the negative effect manipulation can have on others?
No. I didn't always understand why people had an adverse reaction to it, because in a way I kind of looked at it like a game. Lost.
Do you feel ashamed about people you hurt in the past?
Shame, not necessarily, but I do look at it as being inadequate.
You being inadequate?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
It's low frequency. Low frequency actions, low frequency emotions. That's really, that's how I look at it. This is.
Welcome to the stage, Angelina. What are your thoughts so far?
Hi, thank you.
Hi,
give me a minute. Give me a minute. I'm just settling down. I'll give you my thoughts in a sec. Thanks.
Hey, lady, how about you? What do you think?
Oh, I think he's pretty. I don't believe it's been a year. That's what my instant thought. And also his cheeks are getting red. I wonder, is that from embarrassment or just nervousness? But he's just giving me the creeps.
How would someone defend themselves against somebody like this? How would they detect and defend?
I think avoidance. For me, if anyone gives me any indication that they are trying to manipulate me in a negative way, or they are off in a negative way, my sensors go off pretty, well, and I just keep to people who I fully, who I can trust. And there's boundaries, people who respect the boundaries. I think that's it. If you have to have boundaries, and you have to demand that people respect them.
Got it. So Have you seen a situation where maybe a young man or a young woman don't have that radar you have, and you know the damage that it causes? And is there any what should be their next step?
They need to develop. They need some counseling. They need some help with developing boundaries. I think that's a lot of our problems. We drop our we drop our defenses when we see someone that we want or something that we want, and we are accepting of those little quirks they may have, and then the next thing you find out is that little quirk is the fullness of their personality, and you find yourself in trouble. So you have to know yourself, and then I think that's the first step. Know yourself, develop boundaries, and get some help.
Got it. Now, are there any books that you might have read that you could suggest maybe somebody in this situation could read?
You know what? I'll check my library, because I'll tell you, back in the day, like in the early 2000s, I was doing a lot of self-help reading. I felt like I got it, and I'm good. So I used to give away books, and I rebuy them and give them to other people. There's The Purpose-Driven Life. I think that's The Purpose-Driven Life is the one that comes to me. I'll have to get the author, but it's a very famous author. So yeah, I have kind of a Christian religious bent. I'm not religious. I don't go to church, but I'm very much, believe in a greater power. That really helps me too.
Excellent.
I think. Hi, can you hear me?
Sure can.
Hi. I think that I agree with what who was it that just spoke? Was it
a lady?
Lady? Yeah,
a lady.
The lady. See, a lady. I agree with her in regards to obviously having the knowledge, but I think the most important thing is that trust of ourselves. It needs to be there and present, because even in the face of all the knowledge that you might have about narcissism, about toxic people, about whatever, your intuition is going to be the thing that screams the most. And if you don't trust that, they will just twist you all different ways all day long with their mind games, their crazy making, their gaslighting. If you don't have a sense of self and you do not trust yourself, your perception, what you believe is happening, you've got no chance. It doesn't matter how many books you read. So the most important thing is that you've got to get that knowing of self and trusting of self together before you expose yourself to anybody, quite frankly.
Okay. So how does somebody build? Is that something that somebody is just born with? Is there some way somebody can build up? Is that something to do with self-esteem, or?
It's a self-esteem issue, definitely. A lot of us don't trust ourselves because we were raised not to. We were raised to put ourselves and our thoughts aside for other people, especially if you were raised in a authoritarian kind of family system. That's what it's going to be, because if you say the wrong thing, you're going to get hit. If you do the wrong thing, so you get trained to put what you think, how you feel aside for other people. If you came out of that environment, you're going to do that with adults. You'll continue to do that throughout your adulthood, and it makes you a perfect target for these types of people. So it's about rebuilding that part of yourself and understanding that you got to get to a place where you're like, even if I'm wrong, I'm standing by it. I'm going to stand wrong and strong. You know what I mean?
Yes,
it's like, that's fine. This is what I think about this person. He gives me the ick. There's something up. I can't put my finger on it, but the fact that there's something there, I'm gonna eject myself from the situation. That is how, in touch with yourself you have to be. Because the other version of you is going to say, oh, there's something I can't put my finger on, but you know what? Maybe it's me. So I'm just going to let it slide and see what happens. And we start making these excuses, which gives them leeway to continue to do what they're doing. At some point with the crazy making, you're going to become crazy. You cannot sit in that environment and expect to remain with full clarity. You can't expect to have that full clarity when you're in that environment all the time. You're going to get muddled, you're going to get confused. So when you get that instinct, when you see something that's off, you got to be willing to stand on that. That is the most important bit. And getting to that place is about building your self-esteem, is about really, it's mainly a self-esteem issue.
Got it. Happy life.
And of course, no. There's some forms of trauma that can be involved in that as well. Like codependency, like being raised in that same authoritarian system can make you codependent. And that's another issue that you have to fix. So it's not just as simple as, self-esteem. It's also about unlearning the conditioning of being codependent, which is, again, putting your thoughts and feelings behind for other people. So it goes a little bit deeper than that. Yeah, let me just not say self-esteem because that's not true. It goes a little deeper than that. Therapy is needed. Can you hear me clearly? Because I've got these new headphones and they're not, I'm not liking what I'm hearing.
Yeah, you sound okay. You sound fine.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's my thoughts on that so far.
Okay. Happy life. How about you?
At the end of the day, I'll say be careful who you hang around. Make sure that you don't spread toxic energy. It's all about positive energy, and just know that 90% of people is not gonna rock with you because you got positive energy. Not everybody meant to be your friend and stuff like that.
That's a damn good point. Thank you, Happy Life.
I want to add to that though, because there are a lot of toxic and abusive people that use that positive energy, that positive perspective to draw people in. So I would say trust what you feel as opposed to what people are saying, because those positive energy people, your intuition is still going to flag up. That thing within you that says something's up is still going to flag up. So I'd say trust that over everything, even if someone's coming with positive energy, like a lot of these toxics do.
Well, it's like I said, it depends on who you hang out with. So like you can have positive energy, but if you hang out with toxic people, then your energy gonna be toxic. So it's self-awareness that is the key.
Yeah, but my point is negative toxic and abusive people don't come presenting as toxic and abusive. A lot of the time they come presenting as the positive energy person. That's my point. And they use that as an angle too. So they're not always presenting as negative. They're not always presenting as the crazy making, confusing conversation, gaslighting people until you challenge them. Up until that point, they're like, oh, love and light and all of that. There are so many love and light people who are toxic and abusive underneath that veil. So don't get sucked in by that mask either.
That's why I hang out with DJ Torch and the ladies. Why you think I'm here?
That's right, Happy.
Oh no, I'm not saying, no, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're toxic. I'm just saying in general that's something you've got to watch out for too. Just because they come sporting the Bible or talking about positive energy and love and light, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. Literally nothing. Zero. Zilch.
Okay. Well, I like your energy, Happy. You're always up and cool and good to be around. So thank you.
Yep, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I don't deal with the manosphere garbage at all. I'm just here chatting it up, manosphere, you got red pill, you got pasty things out there, you got Will, Chantel and all that. No, I'm just here.
Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit more. Let's see what we got here.
It doesn't really help anyone. I guess it serves me. I get to fulfill a sensation, but then I have to fulfill the sensation again. So you could say, even for me, it's not working. So when you kind of think about it logically like that, and you gain insight, which is the issue, people that have, that diagnosis, it's hard for them to have insight in terms of what other people are experiencing. So you have to just gain a level of insight, I would say.
What are all of your diagnoses?
So when it comes to antisocial personality disorders, specifically, you can see a lot of overlap with different conditions. So for me, I have bipolar disorder. There's the antisocial personality disorder, and then also I have some traits of borderline personality disorder. Typically, a person with the antisocial personality disorder, if they're getting diagnosed, it's because either someone asked them to go that was close to them, that's hurt by their actions, or they did something illegal, and now they have to see someone.
Why did you seek out therapy in the first place?
Because I was going through, for quite some time, I was going through basically bipolar episodes. And it was unusual for me because there would be times where I'm like feeling a level of happiness, like this kind of overt happiness. And then there would be just this deep depression where I don't want to leave bed, or I'll be intensely angry, or I'll be so numb that basically, I wish I was dead in certain circumstances. And that was unusual for me because throughout my life, I was used to not really feeling too much. And I do feel like, the bipolar disorder kind of resulted from the antisocial personality disorder.
Is it common?
Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go for it.
I was going to ask I'm sorry, the young lady on the panel. I'm sorry.
Angelina?
Angelina, yeah. It's good to have you here because, he could be on medication and just seem so like, do you think he's on medication? Because if he wasn't on medication, he might be really acting out. It's like some people seem so calm and normal, but then when they get off their medication, they're in the street fighting out with the cops. So you just can never know. I wanted to also second you on that part about your intuition, to listen to it. I definitely have to go along with that. I always listen to my intuition to a fault sometimes, but I'd rather be safe than sorry. But does he seem like he's on meds, or can you tell?
I'm sorry, what did you say that last bit?
Oh, I was just re-asking, do you think he's on medication, or can you tell if someone's like bipolar and they're on their medication?
I can't really tell if he's on medication, but I would say that the calmer they are, probably the more crazy they are. The psychopaths are the calmest. They don't act out. The narcissist, the psychopath, the sociopath, they don't tend to act out. Do you know what I mean? He has antisocial personality, which is being a sociopath. That's what it is. This is a new updated term for that.
Okay.
Right? So antisocial, it sounds as though they're like aggressive and argumentative and all that stuff. But no, that is the term for a sociopath. So all of these, he's presenting like a sociopath would present.
Okay. And then also Miss RV was saying that if a person is dealing with a stalker, I would say get help from the cops, but a lot of people say that doesn't help. But how do you deal day to day if you got a stalker?
You have to report it to the cops. No, they won't help initially, but having that record is so important. A lot of people don't get the record because they don't report it because nobody does anything, so they think there's no point. But over time, having that record could really help you if you need to go press charges and do all of that stuff, right? You can't make a case out of thin air. So that trail, that paper trail is going to really help you. So if you're dealing with a stalker, report it every single time.
Okay, thank you, Angelina.
No worries.
I feel like it came from me just I guess trying too hard to feel like I was a regular person. And then it never works for too long, because in order for you to have people close to you for a prolonged amount of time, they're gonna find out that something's wrong.
Did you have any fear with telling the world your diagnoses?
No, because I've already been called, all kinds of things. So I don't think it really makes a difference to me. It doesn't change my life in any way, no.
Do you have any type of emotional reaction when people call you those negative things?
It depends. You know, because if it's something where I guess you could say I'm trying to be genuine, because I'm not always manipulating and lying to people with the intent of deceiving them. Sometimes I'll do it to make them comfortable. So if I'm putting in all this effort to be something to make you more comfortable, and it's not received, that can have an effect on me.
You've smiled a few times in this interview.
Yeah.
Is that something you tell yourself to do to make me feel more comfortable?
Yeah, I smile a lot. You know, especially if I'm in regular conversation, you were to see me on the street. Yeah, I'll be smiling a lot. It disarms people. You know, it makes them more comfortable.
Do you have the capability?
That's kind of deep. Wow. So
Yeah.
he's not even doing it because he's happy. He's doing it for a tool.
Yeah, and I'm glad he admitted to that.
Ability of feeling empathy for others?
Not in the same way that an average person would. So say, for example, if someone came up to you and they told you, oh, you know, my grandma just died last night. You may feel intrinsically sad when they tell you that. You know, you may feel sensations almost as if your own grandmother passed away. For me, it's not like that. I won't say that I don't care. That's harsh, but it doesn't make me sad to hear that at all. So instead, what I'll have to do is I'll have to logically understand that, okay, this is an event that people typically get sad at. So I would have to find words of confidence to give them. You know, I'm sorry that happened to you. I know that must be hard. Is there anything I can do? Would you like to talk? Things like that. My grandfather passed when I was about, I was 5 or 6. I remember sitting on my father's lap and he was crying. And I remember wiping the tears off his face and telling him it was going to be okay. You know, I understood that my grandfather was gone and he wasn't going to be coming back. But at the same time, I didn't understand why all the tears. I would say I ended up becoming very perceptive to people. It's not like a thing where sometimes people, like, I don't know if you can do it, but people can walk into a room and kind of feel the mood without even really interacting or looking at anybody in the room. I can't necessarily do that. So I'll have to walk in, I'll have to look at people, observe, you know, any body language. And then from there, you know, I would go off of that. So just all of that, basically that is just simulated emotions that I've been using.
When was the last time you felt happy?
I don't know. Truly, I don't know.
Dang. Okay.
That's deep. Ooh. That's deep. That's sad.
Yeah, that is. I mean, just to think, and they caught, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not always happy, but I am happy, you know, fishing or relaxing. You know, sometimes I get up in the morning, I'm looking forward to the day. And these guys, as mean and as much as they manipulate, they only have moments at best, it seems.
You know, that's why people say, you know, turn to religion, because you're taught there you should be happy that you woke up and you should be happy for your life. I mean, there's a lot of movements that teach you that self-help stuff, but a normal person is supposed to be grateful for being alive. Maybe that's not normal. I don't know. But that's what I think.
Hey, lady, tell that to Chantel Simone and the mammy, because they don't feel alive at all. They feel like the earth is theirs, and
I don't know what's going on with those ladies, those mammies.
Yeah.
When was the last time you pretended like you felt happy?
All the time. Yeah, all the time. Because, you know, it makes people uncomfortable. If they're around someone, like, how do you not, you know, experience joy?
Would it be correct to call you a sociopath?
I mean, if you think in terms of scientific terms, sociopathy, they kind of discarded that term a while ago. But in terms of what most people understand it to be, I would say yes. Layman's terms, yes.
Do you have the desire to have a close relationship and maybe even get married in the future?
I'm not sure yet. That's something that that I debate with myself, and I'm not 100% sure if I want to get married and have children. The notion of it seems reasonably nice to me, I would say, but I don't know if it would be 100% possible, because when you speak about romantically, it's difficult to get people to understand that is, people start to feel inconsequential when I tell them it's not necessarily, it's not really you. Like if I like a person, me liking a person is based off of traits that I notice within them that I feel like would be basically beneficial for me going down the road. And I would like to explore those traits further. So it's hard to kind of explain to someone that, is in an emotional sense, in a romantic sense, I'm not super connected. For me, it's a sense of duty and commitment. So I'm gonna do things for you because you are who you are to me. But people, they in relationships, they want more. They want a little bit more from me. So it gets to the point where I'll basically put that mask on to make them happy. But I can't hold it up forever. So they find out that there are some, inconsistencies there in terms of the emotion.
So he's smiling in your face all the time. He wants to take your place. The backstabbers. I couldn't help it. Hey, lady, I'm sorry. I just had
No, you sing your big heart out. You go ahead and sing your song.
But I it's just wow. I wonder what percentage of this type of person is in the world. I never looked that up. I never know.
Ah, that's a good question. I think I've seen that.
And when you're trying to,
I'm sorry, say again?
Oh, I think I've seen a statistic like that. Let me see if I can find it.
Hey, what happened to my screen? What did I do? What did I do? Oh, there we go. Okay, it's back. So, yeah, because that'd be interesting to know. It's like, okay, if there's 5 people in the room, how many of them have this disorder? At least people would know, I guess.
I think it's like 1 in every 30 people's a sociopath.
Damn.
Something like that. So if you have a classroom of 30, 1 of them is a sociopath. Something along those lines.
Got it. It's kind of scary.
Very.
Okay, I just Googled it. It said 1 in about 28% are bipolar and 1 in 100 are sociopaths.
Damn, okay.
and get someone to see past the emotional aspect and just look at it in the sense of, you know, how I look at it, you know, I'm committed to you. They don't really, it's hard to kind of explain that. People start to feel like, you know, they're inconsequential. It's not really me that matters. If I want to connect to someone, like in a relationship, for example, if I meet someone that I have an interest in romantically, like I don't like you the same way, like, you know, how people like each other. I don't feel any emotional attachment to that. So in order to make someone comfortable and lack of emotional attachment, you know, I have to wear a mask. Like I have to remind myself to tell my family members I love them. You know, I have to remind myself to maintain in contact with my friends and things like that. So, you know, it can be off-putting, you know, if I'm not exaggerating a bit.
So I want to make sure I'm interpreting this correctly. It's almost transactional. You see that they have personality traits that will benefit you, but then you also want to do things for them to keep those personality traits around because you know in the long run that's more beneficial than not having that person around.
Exactly.
It's almost like a math equation.
Yeah. I would say I would agree with that. It kind of is like a math equation. So I would say there's definitely, like anybody else, some people I like a little bit more than others, of course. So some people I would try a little bit harder. But yeah, that's kind of what it is. It is a transactional thing for me. People, they'll be very wary of you. So anybody that I tell, they're very wary of me.
Is that warranted?
Is it warranted? I would say yes. I would say yes, because you do have to be relatively careful when you're dealing with someone who truly has an antisocial personality disorder. It's not necessarily a thing where there's gonna be physical violence, or you're gonna be hurt or anything like that. But if that person doesn't have insight as to how their actions actually affect other people, I would say the likelihood for you being manipulated, even if it's in a small way, is gonna be very high, because most people with sociopathic tendencies, they're not gonna always formulate super grand schemes to take advantage of people. Sometimes it would just be, I'm looking to get lunch today, so let me manipulate this person over here so I can get $10 and go get lunch.
The fact that
Damn.
Wow.
It reminds me of that guy yesterday who asked Kendra G for what is it? Some Snapchat money, remember?
Right. He wanted to, yes.
Oh wow, he did ask that. I remember.
What's funny is he tried to act like he was a baller. Then at the end, he's begging for money.
Right.
that you're talking so openly about all of this, that means that you're not really concerned with wearing a mask anymore.
No. So it's just, I've come to a point where it's just, I have to accept it, that this is who I am. And trying to do too much to change that is where I start seeing negative things come into play.
Do you want to feel like a regular person?
I would say I wanted to at one point, but I've kind of let go of that more so recently, and it has been helping, because I find that the more I try to fit in, the easier it becomes for me to do negative things.
Hey, DJ.
Manipulate, lie, and
so this is the part for me where it gets tricky, because we get told all the time that you shouldn't wear a mask, you should keep it real, but I don't believe in that. I believe you're supposed to behave in a certain way. Like it may be 100 degrees outside and you may feel like walking around with no clothes on, but you know that there are negative consequences that are going to come to that. So you can't, as much as you might want to, you can't do that. Or you might feel like cursing out a customer or your boss, but you can't do that because it's not acceptable and there'll be negative consequences. So that's kind of what he is saying. He knows that he's supposed to behave in a certain way, but he's saying he's not bothered with keeping that mask up anymore. And I don't believe him. I believe we all have to wear a mask to a certain degree. And I don't know if the proper term is mask when you're trying to behave in an acceptable way in society. So it's like, for him to say, I don't try to wear a mask anymore, I don't understand that.
He's feigning authenticity. He has to wear a mask. He always wears a mask.
Right. That's what
As a sociopath, he has to. He wears a mask more than anybody else. If he doesn't wear a mask, he can't manipulate.
Okay.
It's an impossibility. He's just feigning authenticity so that you trust him, because he's a professional at getting people to trust him.
Right.
So he's literally sociopathing as he speaks.
Okay. Okay. That's what I was thinking.
If sociopathing is a word, but you get what I mean.
Yes.
and become angry, ridiculously angry.
What is your motivation not to do that stuff?
I just feel like it's too much chaos that I'm putting out there in the world. And that's really that's really it. I just feel like it's too much chaos, and that's just not a good thing.
Is that something you realized independently, or did therapy help?
I would say therapy definitely helped me realize that, because speaking with my therapist for the 2 years, she helped me realize that a lot of the things I was doing was basically it was all kind of self-serving, and at a certain point you do have to gain a level of insight, and realize that you're making your own life harder.
What would you say to the people you've heard in the past?
I would say I wouldn't even say that I hope you can forgive me. I would say it's more so I hope you can forgive yourself. There's not anything wrong with you.
That's interesting.
You are still perfectly fine as a person. And I would say basically, I won't say don't take it so personally, but don't look at it like, there's something wrong with you. It was something that was wrong with me, basically.
Is it still wrong with you?
I struggle with it. That's why, I limit myself in certain situations.
Do you view yourself as better than other people?
Yeah, definitely. But I do my best to kind of combat that. Because that comes from, outsmarting people. You get this sense of,
Son Bell in the house.
Inflated sense of self, almost narcissistic, I would say.
Do you believe you're better than me?
I would say based off of my belief system, no. Simply because of work that you do. Again, not really an emotional thing. It's just the work that you do. People benefit from it. So
what is your belief system?
Certain things are right and certain things are wrong. And that's it.
Is that something you taught yourself, or was that learned through therapy?
It was a combination. Because, my therapist would help me. She would help me navigate through the confusion. Like I would come to her with certain problems. Like, I said this to that person and they reacted to me like this. Why? Why did that happen? I don't understand. I thought that I was emulating the best I could. So it would be things like that. And she would teach me the difference between just emulating and exaggerating versus trying to more so genuinely connect with people. And that's where the whole understanding, like we mentioned earlier, someone tells you that their grandmother passed, you have to realize and you have to recognize that that can be a horrible event for people.
Do you have
This is why therapy is dangerous when it comes to people who can't be treated. Like when a narcissist goes to therapy, or a sociopath goes to therapy, or psychopath goes to therapy, it doesn't help because it just teaches them how to mask up better.
Right.
Yeah, it literally just teaches them to be better at what they're doing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. And you also got to watch out when you go to therapy, because the therapist might entertain your BS and then not do nothing about it and then get paid big money. So,
well, there's nothing that they can do about it. He's a sociopath. There's nowhere to go from there.
Well, so if you're married to a sociopath, the answer is to divorce or deal with it?
Pretty much, because those are the ones that can't be treated. Narcissism, sociopath, antisocial personality, and psychopath.
Okay, and then I would think child abusers, ex-abusers.
Well, all abusers, most abusers, I shouldn't say all, majority of abusers fall under the category of either narcissist, sociopath, or psychopath, which is why it's hard for abusers to reform. there is a percentage, I can't remember what the percentage is exactly, but there is a percentage of abusers that come from learned behavior, which can be reformed, but it's a very, very small percent. And I think that's why they said somewhere that that is basically why there's so little reform, because they usually fall under one of those categories. Undiagnosed or sometimes diagnosed, but they suspect. Well, obviously diagnosed. That's how they got the statistic in the first place. But this is what they suspect is going on around that.
Wow.
So yeah, if you're married to a sociopath, yeah, I would definitely get out of that one.
Or don't marry one at all.
Yeah, preferably.
Right.
But
Yeah,
if you're already married, the counseling, therapy, and all that stuff, that's not going to help. It just makes them smarter at doing what they're doing.
Right. And so when you have that situation where people love bomb and they want to rush into a marriage, not even just a relationship, they're like, okay, let's get married next week. And I just met you. We hear about those marriages all the time. Now, I have heard one or two of them have lasted a long time, but I would not trust a marriage like that. Somebody rushing me, I would think that is a sign. They probably have something hidden, whether it be finances or their mental, situation, and they know that it's going to come out. So let me hurry up and get you to this altar before my true self starts showing, before the mask starts showing.
110%. And it's all that. The love bombing is a bit of a term that's like thrown around, but it's all that too much too soon. Like, what's too much too soon.
Right.
You know what I mean? If they're telling you you're the love of their life and they don't actually know you, that's too much too soon.
Right.
If they're saying to you that, oh my God, you're the best thing that ever happened to me, and they don't know you, too much too soon. If they're telling you what your characteristics are, this is one way that they do it as well. And it's kind of love bombing and also training you how to be. Like, it's a combination where they start to condition you in the love bombing phase. Well, they'll start telling you how you are in regards to, oh my gosh, you're so open, you're so honest, you're so generous, and they don't know you. That's them conditioning you to be that way because that's what they want. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes they'll bring in a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend, and start talking about how she was a gold digger so that you don't look to them for money. These sort of things is what they do to start to condition you to start acting in certain ways. So love bombing isn't just about getting on your good side. It's also about conditioning you to act the way they want you to act. It's very deep, very manipulative.
Okay.
Have any fear that once you share your diagnoses, people will always be skeptical about you?
I mean, that's not necessarily a fear. It's a given. For me, it's a given. I would say I'm more surprised when people don't judge it.
Do you have any fears?
Fears. I would say the fear of being inadequate. That's the main one. The fear of being.
That's small but deep to me, because it seems like the fear that I get from whenever these, the men in the manosphere do break down and tell the truth, they always tend to complain about feeling inadequate, but they feel like somebody else made them feel inadequate instead of it being themselves. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
I get it.
It just seems like that's what.
It's kind of flipped. They kind of say, if I'm inadequate, it's my mama's fault.
Right.
They're deflecting. It's everybody else's fault. They're deflecting. It's like, okay, I'm feeling inadequate, and it's not because I am actually inadequate and I'm a bit of a fool on this manosphere thing. No, it's because other people are making them feel inadequate. Yeah.
The manosphere has equipped them with a toolbox of excuses to go to, haven't they?
This is what we gotta deal with, y'all. I miss Gemini so much.
Me too.
Yeah, we miss Gemini. Maybe she's in the clouds and she'll grace us with her presence one day.
Yeah, I just want her to be happy.
And
Hopefully she is.
And I also think, I mean, I didn't get this statistic from my studies. I got it from a documentary that I watched recently. But that I'm sure that sociopaths are more than 100, one per 100. What was the? I want more details on that. I want to look it up because I got 1 in 30, but that was not from Google. That was from an actual documentary.
Right. Yeah. On Google.
I'm thinking. I think it's more than that, especially these days. What was the date on that statistic? I mean,
like I said, you know, I Googled it like 3 times and I got different results.
Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Because I'm like, hang on a minute. Nah, it's got to be more than that. They're coming out of the woodwork every day to the point where they've like renamed it so it doesn't sound so bad, right? So I'm thinking, I haven't got an official study on that myself, though. That's not come from any of my stuff. But yeah, okay, different statistics. Okay, that makes more sense. All right, sorry. Carry on.
All right, Alexander, how you doing? Welcome to the stage.
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm sorry, everyone. I can't stay long. I gotta get ready for the life that I'm doing. And again, it's ladies' night, so yeah.
Your volume is going in and out, Alexander. We can barely hear you.
Yeah, your mic muted. Okay, there we go.
Oh, okay. So I want to go ahead and say that, I think more discussions like this needs to happen, and also I think it's very important to, watch out for guys like the dude that, we were listening to. And I also think it's time for Black women to vet the man as well, because again, I just looked up. I got something on my phone, DJ Torch, that says they found a missing Black woman who is a mother of 4, and she's no longer with us no more. And the thing of it is that Black women have been taught not to. Well, they've been taught to ignore the red flags because of they do not want the person to be be judged a certain way. So and then with the whole manosphere thing, it's just making it 10 times worse. And at this point, I suggest Black women. I might get hate for this, but I suggest Black women, to start expanding their options, because it looks like from what I've seen in the live, it really does look like Black men are, and the majority of them are abusing Black women. They are unaliving them and everything else. And it's all because of jealousy and the narcissism within most Black men. And so that's all I have to say. DJ Torch, I thank you for having me up here, and I'll see y'all. Hopefully, I'll see y'all when real soon.
Got it, Alexander. Thank you for coming to the stage.
Hey, Alexander.
Can I add to that? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, just real quick. Is it okay if Alexander drops his? It sounded like he said he had a live coming up. So if he wants to drop his link, I didn't even know.
Absolutely.
You had a page.
Absolutely.
I didn't know you had a channel, Alexander. Thank you. You're always up. It must be a divestment channel because you're always telling us to look elsewhere. So thank you. Okay, go ahead.
I'd like to add to that.
Yeah.
What he said about hello?
All right, we can hear you.
Okay. What he said about vetting better and spotting the red flags. I have two things to say about that. A lot of the time with black people, black women, and black people in general, a lot of the time we don't see the red flags because they're not red flags. They're things that we grew up doing. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, putting your own feelings aside, for other people. So when these things come along in an adult relationship, a lot of the time we don't recognize it because it's our normal. This is what we're doing with our family. This is what we're doing with our friends. We're already in toxic environments a lot of the time, right? But we're just not recognizing it as that. The other thing I wanted to say about that was picking better. Here's the thing about toxic and abusive dynamics. They can wear that mask for a very long time. And the more abusive they are, the better they are at masking. People can mask for 2 years and then switch. What are you supposed to do with that? So it's not even so much about, I've come to the conclusion, it's not just about knowing the signs and spotting the red flags and, do you know what I mean, all of that stuff. It's also about being willing when they switch to get yourself up out of that situation, full stop. Do you know what I mean? When they start switching and they're consistently being this toxic and abusive thing, it's about getting yourself out of that situation.
So basically what would happen is that you, for let's say being the recipient of this, you would think, okay, they're just having a bad week, day, or month, correct?
Correct. But if you find yourself in a system where you're continually going on this roller coaster ride with this person, and it's not just about what they're doing. Here's the key. It's not just about the gaslighting and the crazy making and all that stuff. It's also a pattern of behavior in regards to how they view you, because they split. They're black and white all the time. 1 minute you're great, the next minute you're not. 1 minute you're great, the next minute you're not. If you're going on that roller coaster ride with them, you need to get off. Do you see what I mean?
True.
It's
Yes, I
not
do.
just about the gaslighting. It's not just about the crazy making. It's also about having to defend yourself and being character assassinated on a weekly basis, on and off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. It's a combination of that. So when you see that going on over a period of time, and of course there'll be good times thrown in there, but if you're seeing that pattern, you got to get out of it because it's toxic. It doesn't matter how many good times you're having, and you'll probably have less and less good times as time goes on. So it's not just about, vetting them better, because a lot of them, not a lot of them, but there are some that are very, very good at what they do. Very good. And some of them don't rush the process. Some of them don't love bomb you. Sometimes they do the reverse. Sometimes they neglect you from the beginning to draw you in. So there are different ways that they do this.
Yes, like were you here yesterday when we were watching the young lady who was very attracted to this really handsome guy, and he was brought on the Pineapple Show to be a possible match for her, but he was flirting with the host right in front of him, and instead of her getting rid of him, she said, "Yeah, I want him to get my number, and I like him." It's crazy.
Yeah. He triangulated her and made her work for it. A lot of them do that. The more dangerous ones do that. So,
crazy. Yeah.
You have to have yourself in check and your self-esteem in check before you even go into the dating pool. Ladies, we got to get it together before we even go into the dating pool. Go to therapy before you even go into the dating pool, especially if you're online dating. It's the hub for the toxic and abusive person.
Yeah.
So you got to get yourself right before you go looking for Mr. Right. You know what I mean?
The long-term problem that y'all ladies are going to have is at some point, y'all got to have a meeting and check these mammies because they are ruining y'all. You know,
I don't know what you mean. Mammies? What are we
Yeah,
referring
no,
to?
mammies, pick me's, you know.
Oh my! Don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Yeah, a
In
lady,
the
I saw,
long run, you're gonna have to deal with them now. Yeah.
a lady had a great idea. I saw it in the thing, and we might have to do it live on it. But I saw it with her permission, of course. Yeah,
Absolutely.
mammies versus bandits.
Oh yeah, now that's good.
Good
That's
one.
good.
You know
Yeah.
there's gonna be more than one.
That'd be good.
Let me play a little bit more, and then we'll call it. We'll
Mammies versus bandits versus broke men versus broke women.
I don't wanna die feeling like I didn't do anything, basically. And that's really my only fear.
How would you define inadequate?
Just having no benefit to the world, basically.
Do you think most people are inadequate?
I won't say most because there's quite a bit of people in the world, and I haven't met most, but I would say, yeah, there's a good amount of people that I would say are inadequate.
Is that why you're okay with manipulation? Because you view many people as inadequate?
No, that's not the main reason. Even if I view the person as adequate and I'm able to still manipulate them, that's like bonus points. I mean, we're all self-motivated. Like, we're all a bit narcissist. We're all a bit, we all are a bit, psychopathic.
I want to ask: is that true? Is that true? Like, I mean, do we all have a little bit of the, narcissism and all that other stuff, or is
110%. We all have narcissism. It's
Got
on
it.
a spectrum, though. It's on a spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah, I think people just gotta turn to God and then everyone will be okay, but it's not the case.
I have to agree with you because sometimes I wonder, am I a narcissist? Because I see myself doing, like, sometimes feeling, but my number one guiding, light or term or what phrase or whatever to live by is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I try to live by that, but I do troll a little bit. So I'm a work in progress.
I would say the fact that you're asking the question means that you're not, because narcissists do not have a level of self-reflection. They can't self-reflect, which is why they can't improve their behavior, because they can't go back to a situation and reflect on that situation and come up with they can't do it. It's part of the disorder. So, I mean, narcissism itself, okay, but like MPD is part of the disorder. They can't do it. So when you see these self-aware narcissists saying they realized because they went back and thought about it, they're lying. Because if you have MPD, you can't do that. That's why they keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Like if they make a stupid mistake, they'll go and do it with someone else again and again and again. That's what makes them so predictable in some ways.
Got it.
But
Hey, if you want to know what narcissism is, look at Melanie King. She's the biggest ones. Like, I'm telling you.
She could be. I haven't really paid attention to her that much, though.
Yeah. She a pro at that. Y'all gotta watch her in depth.
Okay, Happy, you're going to have to deliver the Melanie King section of the Mammy versus Bandit show.
Right. You're the Melanie King expert.
Yeah, we got Chantel. We got, man, all these women are single. Like, they ain't got no man. They ain't got nothing going on. They unstable. They need therapy themselves, though. And the bandits.
go from the typical amount of narcissist, the typical amount of self-driven to, okay, you now have antisocial personality disorder?
I can't speak to that. That would be like a person-to-person basis, you know, but it's traits that we all have. In order for you to survive in the world, you have to be a bit narcissist. Everybody does things that are self-serving. Eating and drinking are self-serving. You know, we're literally killing the planet with our eating habits, for example.
Is he gaslighting us right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he's normalizing the situation a bit too much, but I think what he's saying is correct. We all do have the narcissism, and it is essential for us to function in the world. What he's saying is correct.
Okay.
But I think it's very important for us to understand that narcissism, sociopath, and all of these conditions, including borderline personality, can be developed from trauma too. You know, because there's complex PTSD, you know, PTSD, complex PTSD. And if you go past that, you're getting into personality disorders right there. Borderline personality disorders is the next step. So, you know, that's something to consider.
Well, isn't that why a lot of times we forgive people, especially women? We say, oh, he had a tough childhood, or oh, he or she were abused. That makes them become unstable, but we still have to protect ourselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm not saying that as an excuse. Absolutely not. I'm not one for he had trauma in his past. I'm not that person. I'm he had trauma in his past, go deal with that. Stay away from me. Person. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm that person. And there are no excuses. Just because you've been traumatized in the past doesn't give you the right to abuse people and make them traumatized in the present. That's not how that works.
And I think that is what has damaged our community to the point where we're broken, because we think a lot of us tie everything back to slavery and racism, and we forgive everything, and we say all that trauma, there's an excuse. Yeah, we all have trauma, but we still have to protect ourselves, and especially our children from damaged people. Yeah.
I couldn't agree more.
Exactly. And remember that, you know, complex PTSD over time only gets worse. And the more you traumatize yourself, the worse it's going to get, to the point where you end up with one of these personality disorders. So whilst you're there forgiving him for his trauma, you might want to think about that.
Got it. Well said. We're going to play a little bit more.
We're killing the planet with our transportation habits. People do things that are self-serving. So it's not inherently a bad thing, as long as the things that you're doing that are self-serving aren't resulting in negative outcomes for other people as well as yourself.
So what makes you care about having a negative impact on other people? Is that intrinsic?
No.
He doesn't care.
No. It's just a matter of, you know, you're causing unnecessary problems for other people. And I look at it from a very logical perspective, because, you know, a lot of trauma is passed down. So if I do something to you, for example, and you carry that throughout the rest of your life, I don't know if you have a wife or kids, but let's say you go on to have a wife and kids, and now your trauma from the event that you had with me filters into that. Now your wife starts to get a level of trauma, your kids start to get a level of trauma, other people that are close to you start to get to a level of trauma. Anyway.
Hey, lady, I think you just nailed it with his statement right there. That he just pretty much explained how the community got destroyed.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And I think it's only narcissism.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I think it's only narcissism in which they have that level of shame that makes them feel bad. You know, it's not empathy, but they can feel shame.
I see.
If they have MPD, they can, if someone, which is why they go into, you know, the circular conversation and the gaslighting and all that stuff, because they want to convince you that it didn't happen, so that they can offload the shame of what you're accusing them of, right?
Right.
That's that for the MPD. But the sociopath and the psychopath, they don't have that. They don't have that at all. So what he's talking here is absolute nonsense. What are you saying about, if I do this, it impacts other, these lies. This is masking talk that he's talking about here. He doesn't care.
Happen. So I look at it from that perspective. It's not an emotional thing. It really is a logical thing.
What was it like before you were so self-aware?
I would say it was very confusing. Very confusing because I didn't quite understand why it was. I didn't feel the way regular people felt. And I would often do things that would be, categorized as sensation chasing. You would engage in illegal activities, for example, and if you don't get caught, that's quite a rush. It's quite a rush to not get caught doing something. That's things that I used to do. Lying and manipulating people, that gave me a sense of power in a way, because I can't necessarily feel anything myself in a way, so it gave me a sense of power to know that I can control other people's feelings.
Do you think you will manipulate somebody in the future?
No.
Yes.
Not
That's hilarious. No.
Absolutely not.
No, as in
This is
I
masking
will,
on
but
a
y'all
whole.
won't know.
It's like I've been delivered.
How has he been delivered? Please explain the process of your healing so we can take it to the psychologist up above. Crazy.
He wants to get out of therapy so bad that he can commit more crimes.
I've been, a sociopath all my life, but right now I will never do it again, ever.
And then once he gets out of that, he says, "Ha ha ha."
He's literally manipulating as he said that.
Right.
No.
It would have been better if the guy who's interviewing him looked at the camera, straight in the camera with, this dead face, like, yeah, right.
Right. Not a word. He wouldn't have to say a word.
Right.
The extent that I did it before, at least, I could see myself doing it if I'm engaging in a business deal. It might be beneficial for me to get you to raise that bottom line, stuff like that. If which is manipulation. It's just
now it might be the way that our collective minds have been trained through mainstream media, but when you say that, my first thought is that's what a manipulator would say.
Yeah.
Should I ever lose that skepticism? Should the viewer ever lose that skepticism when interacting with somebody with antisocial personality disorder?
You gotta know. Like I said, the people that I've known, I've had my friends for in between 8 and 13 years, 12, 13 years. So it's like they're not.
I don't know if this is getting useful here, because it looks like to me that he's starting to catch up to this. He's feeling comfortable enough to lie. That's what I feel. Before it seemed like he wanted to make a good impression, so he was more honest before, or tried to be more honest. But now just seems like he's just making shit up.
I think the questions are getting harder, and he's just now lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to come out and say, I'm a bad person.
Right.
It's trendy these days to be a psychopath and a sociopath and come out and start a YouTube channel. That's fine. But they have to be good sociopaths and narcissists and psychopaths. They can't be bad. They have to have that mask at least, right?
Right.
So he can't come on the documentary and say he's a horrible person and that's that. I mean, I think the closest person that's come to that is Sam Batman. Has anybody heard of him?
Not me.
No, I haven't.
Yeah, he literally comes out. He's a narcissist, self-aware narcissist and a psychologist, and he's been trying to get a cure for himself for years, which is why he knows so much about it, and also because he is one. Actually, he's a narcissist and is code morbid, narcissist and psychopath. But he literally just came out and said he's married, and he says he doesn't love he literally like, I don't love anybody. I don't love anybody. I'm out here, and he's literally just like, I do these videos because it feeds my sense of self, and that's basically it. I mean, it's a bonus that people benefit from it, but I wouldn't care either way. he's like that, and I'm like, okay, he's the closest one out of all of them. The rest of them mask and tell you truth and then lie, and then truth and then two lies, and then truth and then masking. It's a lot.
Wow, that's deep. Well, why don't we go ahead and call it a day? Is there anything happy life that you want to say for to end this live on the good foot?
Yeah, these ladies on the panel was awesome tonight. Hey, lady, we need you on the panel forever. And ultimately, I see y'all on the next one.
Got you, happy life. Good seeing you. How about you, Angelina?
Nothing to add, nothing happy, sorry. It was a great discussion, loved it.
Oh my, you said my name. You said my name, happy.
That's right. Yeah, I totally understand. You know, sometimes logic will have to take over for happiness. I appreciate your input and all the information you gave us on this. And hopefully
you're most welcome. Always a pleasure.
You know, and I hope you know, a lot of people will check out your channel. Go ahead, if you could, feel free to put your link in the chat if you'd like, and tell us the full name of your channel.
Okay, the channel's name is the Livermore Academy Recovery Hub for Women. At the Livermore Academy Hub is the handle. Yeah, I can't put it in the chat because I'm literally going to disconnect. I still haven't worked out that bit.
Oh, okay.
I have to get better at that. Can you put the link in the chat for me?
Yeah, hold on one second. Let me see if I can
Thank
dig
you.
that out.
I'm going to get round to getting the handle on that, but I don't want to disconnect myself. Thank you. But yeah, definitely come and check me out over there. I talk about toxic and abusive dynamics, and I also break down stuff from things I see in the media, if it's like a red flag and stuff like that. So I take it from many different angles. I also talk about the effects of trauma and how we can recover from trauma. And it's for women, basically. So that's me. I hope to see you over there.
Right on. I appreciate your information and help.
Thank you. Always welcome.
Thank you, Miss Angelina. I'll go next, DJ, if that's okay.
Oh, go for it.
I just want to thank DJ for hanging in here and being strong and keeping this going for our community. And I'm always happy to be on the stage with you. Angelina, I love the fact that you are putting the correct terms on conditions that we are unclear of, and so I'm going to listen back to this. This is a very informative stream, so thank you very much, and thanks to the chat, and I hope everybody has